Hi and welcome back to Love English. My name's Leila and I am a British university language teacher. Now today I have a rather different lesson for you because this lesson is going to help native speakers as well. I'm going to be looking at the top 10 words that British people mispronounce. Let's bear in mind that we do have varying forms of pronunciation. Sometimes American and British pronunciation can be a little bit different. A few of these words come under that category. Now, I'm not saying that American pronunciation is wrong. However, some English people might not realize they're actually using the American pronunciation rather than the British. I'm even guilty of doing this. So for non-native speakers, this should reassure you a little bit. Mistakes in grammar and even pronunciation are common whether you are a native or non-native speaker. So therefore, don't worry if you make a few errors when you speak, because even we do it ourselves. So, the top 10 words natives mispronounce. Right, let's get started. Number 1. Now, in the UK, we have traditionally been a nation of tea drinkers. However, I think with Starbucks and other coffee shops, we found ourselves drinking a lot more coffee. Why is it then we seem to always mispronounce this word? Espresso. Espresso. Now Italians, this is their word, so they usually get it right. But English people often add an X. Espresso. Espresso. I think they're getting confused between express, meaning fast, quickly, and espresso. So, number 1, guys, next time you're in Starbucks, order an espresso. Number 2, this is not so much a word as a letter, but it does get very frustrating when English people pronounce it wrong. H, H, not H, H. Very often English people will pronounce it with a H. Now this is more the sound than the pronunciation of the actual letter. Of course, that breathy sound, something the Italians often don't like, is a very common sound in English when you have H at the beginning of a word. Hospital, hotel, hallway, happy. But the actual letter, H. Right, number 3. So this is a little bit embarrassing, but I actually pronounce this word wrong. Schedule, schedule with a sk, and schedule, schedule with a sh sound. The difference in pronunciation, neither is actually wrong, but one is American. Do you know which? I pronounce this word schedule, schedule. That is the American pronunciation. So I actually pronounce the word technically wrong for British pronunciation. British is schedule, schedule. So you can see there, with the influence of American culture, I watch lots of American television programs and films. The pronunciation has changed over time, and very often people now adopt some forms of American pronunciation. Whether that's a good or bad thing, up to you. Okay, number 4 is a kind of understandable mispronunciation. This word looks really weird. So, some kind of like couscous style food. Lots of healthy people eat it. I prefer rice and couscous, really. Now, British people often pronounce this word quinoa. It's not. It looks like it, it really does, but the actual pronunciation is quinoa, quinoa. We mispronounce it a lot, so let me know, is that a word that you have mispronounced before, whether you are a native or non-native speaker? I'm kind of curious. I mispronounce it, and I still will probably mispronounce it after this lesson because it's just a weird word. Okay, number 5. Now, I've got a nice story to share with you here. I first realised I mispronounced this word when I was on a date, my first date with my now lovely boyfriend of 6 years. He is in fact Italian, and when I said this word in the restaurant, thinking I was very sophisticated, pronouncing the word correctly as I ordered my food, he looked at me with a rather strange expression and corrected my mispronunciation. Bruschetta. Bruschetta. The British, I think probably 9.9 times out of 10, will pronounce it bruschetta. Bruschetta. And of course, it is a foreign word. It's an Italian word. I'll put a picture of a nice bruschetta up here. So bruschetta is an Italian word. In Italian, the SCH, the C and the H, is going to be a K sound, so sk, bruschetta. Whereas in British English, obviously, when we see an S and an H anywhere near each other, we think sh, sh. So there you go, a bit confusing, but next time you're in an Italian restaurant, try and get it right. Order the bruschetta. Right, number 6. This is very commonly mispronounced, and it's a bit like espresso. We add a sound that really doesn't belong there. Etc., etc. It is not etc., etc. with a k, an X there. That's not how we say it, etc., etc. Right, number 7. I'm really not doing well today because I think this is a word that I also mispronounce. Mischievious. No. Mischievous. Better. Now, I think this has kind of developed so that mischievous is an accepted form of pronunciation. However, the original pronunciation should be 3 syllables. Mischievous. Mischievous. Not mischievious. So I've added an extra syllable and I've lengthened the pronunciation, the E sound. Mischievious compared to mischievous. So, do you say that word wrong? I want to know if you're like me and you mispronounce it. I really do think that it's acceptable to say mischievous, but I've noticed that it's more the younger generations that actually pronounce it this way. So let me know below, do you say mischievous, 3 syllables, or mischievous, 4? And then ask yourself, how old are you? You don't have to tell me, but generally speaking, under 35s will have 4 syllables, mischievous. So that's actually me. I still come under that category. And over 35, so older generations, will say mischievous. Okay, number 8. Now, I'm not really into sport, meaning I'm not very interested in it. Athlete. So there should be 2 syllables, athlete, athlete. Many native speakers will actually say athlete, athlete, adding another syllable. So this is a common thing we do, like mischievous, mischievous, athlete, athlete. How complicated is pronunciation? Okay, number 9 is a bit more of a specific word. We probably use it a little bit less than the others. However, it is one that I have heard mispronounced. I don't do this myself, hurrah! But the word is niche, niche. Often we refer to niche markets when we're talking about market segmentation and promoting products. But niche, you can see, again, it's another confusion with the spelling. Some English people might pronounce it niche, niche with a ch sound. It's not. It is niche with a sh at the end. Finally, number 10, and I've saved this till last because I really think this is ironic. When we use the verb, we say pronounce, pronounce. However, the noun is pronunciation, pronunciation. And I can't tell you how many times I have heard English people say this wrong. Rather than saying pronunciation, they get confused with the verb and they say pronunciation. Absolutely wrong. I've even seen this word mispronounced on YouTube pronunciation videos. So, pronounce, pronunciation, pronounce, pronunciation. That's like a really annoying one for me. So if you are English and you've been getting that wrong, correct it now. That's it. 10 words that English people commonly mispronounce. So whether you are English or a non-native speaker learning English, hopefully you will now correct your pronunciation and get those right. Don't forget, if you haven't already, do subscribe to our channel and keep watching. There's lots more pronunciation videos coming up.